RobertMPirsig, Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance, An Inquiry into Values, Phaedrus, Number 1. Embark on a captivating journey with the narrator, his son Chris, and their friends John and Sylvia Sutherland as they set off on a motorcycle road trip. As they journey across the countryside, this book dives deep into the conflicting perspectives of classical and romantic modes of thinking. Illustrated through the contrasting approaches to motorcycle maintenance, readers are introduced to the rational, systematic classical mindset and the emotional, imaginative romantic worldview. Prepare to be challenged as the narrator struggles to reconcile these contradicting perspectives through the emergence of his past identity, Phaedrus, and his unique philosophy of equality.
Exploring classical thinking. Join the narrator on a motorcycle journey with his son and friends as he examines classical thinking through the metaphor of motorcycle maintenance. The classical mode of thought is represented by the narrator's engineering knowledge and systematic approach to problem solving. This style of thinking is fascinated by the technical details that make a machine work and is underpinned by systematic, reliable, and rational systems such as science and math. Classical thinking aims to bring order and control to the chaotic world through established rules and standards. The clash of classical and romantic thinking. The narrator sets on a road trip with his friends, a couple named John and Sylvia Sutherland, who embody the romantic way of life. They refuse to learn how to fix their motorcycle, a decision that the narrator, a classical thinker, finds puzzling. The Sutherland's motorcycle breaks down, and the narrator proposes an easy and cheap fix, which John rejects since it would disrupt the bike's aesthetic. The narrator learns that the Sutherlands reject the motorcycle's inner workings due to their resentment towards technology. The clash between classical and romantic thinking arises, with the former valuing practicality and efficiency, while the latter appreciates beauty and emotion. The narrator struggles to understand the Sutherland's romantic worldview that favors aesthetics over functionality. Phaedrus, Madness or Enlightenment. During a road trip, the narrator is plagued by memories of Phaedrus, his former identity, and is forced to confront the tension between classical and romantic modes of thought. The book's summary is about a journey towards self-discovery that takes the narrator down memory lane. The narrator, while on a road trip, is forced to face the memories of his past which he associates with a person named Phaedrus. Phaedrus is the narrator's past identity, who was a philosophy student and an English professor. He struggled to reconcile the differences between the classical and romantic ways of thinking, which eventually led him to challenge and question the existing systems of thought. This pursuit brought about antisocial behavior and signs of mental illness, consequently leading to Phaedrus' institutionalization in electroshock therapy. As the narrator faces his past and the memories of Phaedrus resurface, he is conflicted about whether to embrace or reject them. The narrator represents the classical way of thinking and struggles to find a balance between it and Phaedrus's romantic way of thinking. The conclusion reveals that Phaedrus had the unique ability to combine both ways of thinking, which could have resulted in enlightenment. Overall, the book explores the tension between opposing modes of thought and how embracing these differences can lead to a more profound understanding of oneself. Phaedrus's take on modern society. Phaedrus finds a solution to the clash between classic and romantic thought. Phaedrus, while studying philosophy, came up with a philosophy of his own that caused and ultimately cured his madness. In his opinion, the dichotomy between classic and romantic thought, which is central to Western thought, is responsible for the confusion, dissatisfaction, and lack of wisdom in modern society. Phaedrus believed that it was necessary to find a way to mollify the antagonism between the two modes of thought with the concept of quality. Quality is a philosophical approach that integrates both the classical and romantic modes of thought. Phaedrus describes how people consciously and unconsciously choose specific stimuli to focus their attention on. Classic-minded individuals recognize their perceptions, classify and divide them based on individual characteristics, and create order from chaos. On the other hand, romantics exalt the chaos and richness of life's experiences. Quality incorporates both approaches by thinking about the vastness of the original pool of stimuli from which we assemble our versions of reality and truth. Phaedrus and the struggle for quality. Phaedrus' quest to balance classical and romantic thought leads to personal turmoil and madness. Despite criticisms of rationality, Phaedrus employs it in his self-critique, comparing a university to a church and realizing the importance of the romantic side of life. His crisis causes pain for his family, but ultimately brings the narrator and his son closer together.
As the road trip comes to an end, the notion of integrating classical and romantic thinking through the philosophy of quality emerges as key to resolving the conflicts and dissatisfaction experienced by modern society. The eternal struggle between the rational and the emotional can be alleviated by embracing both perspectives and acknowledging their validity. As the narrator learns to accept Phaedrus' insights and realizes the importance of balancing these ways of thinking, the road to enhanced well-being and wisdom becomes apparent. Ultimately, Zen and the art of motorcycle maintenance implores us to recognize the value of both the classical and romantic modes of thought, offering a richer, more fulfilling way to navigate our complex world.